a very squeamish subject this week, but one I think we should talk about, and that is because not everybody knows how to, why to, and if to use blood magic. So if you're interested in it, carry on watching. Hi guys, Tuva here, and this week it is about blood, yes, but not in the way you're thinking. Yes, it has bad connotations to it, and maybe we are swayed by the media on this. But if you practice witchcraft and you want to do some really good spell work or healings or anything like that, a small drop of blood from yourself can work wonders, because the potency of it, yes, there are reasons why blood is very good and very powerful, but it is not what we see in the films. It is not the fact that it is just life-giving, but it pertains to everything that you are. So when you give of your own blood, you are giving of your DNA, of your spiritual side, of your very essence, your soul. Everything is included in it. So when we're using it, we have to remember that it is very powerful, but it is also linked to us. So you also have to be careful, guys, because if you use it in the wrong way, you are linked to it, and there's no break in that, because that is your substance, your life force. So that is the one thing I would say straight off that you have to be careful of. Okay, so you might say to me, well, how do I get hold of blood? Well, there are many ways that you can get hold of blood, guys, and you don't have to be killing an animal or sacrificing a human being. No, it's very simple. If you want to use animals' blood, you can go to the local butchers, or to, if you know of an abattoir or places like that. If you're not squeamish and it doesn't worry you, then you can actually ask them if they would mind selling you some of the blood of the animal, but you would need to know what animal it was, because yes, their personality is in their blood, their DNA, their essence, just like you. As a human, you have all that. As an animal, they have all that, and it's the same. So if you're going to buy the blood, you need to know that it is purely from that particular animal, so that you know, for example, what does a cow do? It grazes. It is a very encompassing animal. So you could use it in rituals where you need to be maybe taking the bigger picture, chewing it over in your mind, but also making sure that that energy is right for that spell. So it's not just about using any old blood, and also it has to be fresh. So you need to get it on the day, and if you can't use it straight away, guys, you can freeze it. You can either put it in the fridge for up to 7 days, or you can freeze it in the freezer for probably around 3 months. I wouldn't leave it in there any longer than that. And so that would be if you were going to use animals. A taxidermist, someone that uses animals to make them beautiful again, so they're taking out all the life force from that particular animal. You might be able to get different types of animals that way. You might be able to do it online and get, you know, their order through, and then they might be able to send it to you if there's not one near you. But they really are good because they have unusual animals too. So if you really are wanting to use a specific spell for a specific need, you could use the animal that is actually going to benefit the spell. Apart from that, guys, if you don't want to go down that avenue, then there is yourself. Now, for women, there is the menstrual blood, which can be saved in a menstrual cup. And it is so simple, guys, to use. It's just a little plastic cup that you would insert, and it collects all the blood. And you change it every 12 hours. So when you pull the cup out, you just save that into a little vial. There is a time limit on how long you can keep it. So again, either freeze it, but I wouldn't. When it comes to menstruation and that type of blood, it has a lot more stuff in it, not just things I've spoken about, but it's actually got mucus and body parts in it. It's got lining. It's also got the egg of life within it. You have to remember that when women shed the blood, they're shedding that seed of life, that egg, the ovum, and it's going into the blood. So at some point you may have caught that in the blood itself, and that is life. It's very powerful and much more powerful than average blood. Of course, blood is potent, whatever sort you use, but the menstrual blood is very powerful because it has that life in it that hasn't been used. So that spark that could have been a life is still in there, and it can be used to promote whatever it is you are doing a spell for. So if it was for healing, that would be ideal. The healing of yourself, the healing of others, even for people that can't have children and you're doing a fertility spell. That would be so apt, that sort of blood. Now when it comes to taking your own blood, if you don't have this particular way of collecting it, you can use your own blood. Now you see in the films where they slice into themselves and it all pours in like running water into a big bowl. Well, I can tell you guys, blood is not like that. You can cut yourself and try to get it in, and it will not fall from your hand or wherever the injury is into a bowl. It will go everywhere but the bowl. So the best way of doing it, and you don't need a lot, guys, is this is what I use, and it's what diabetics use. And basically, I'll take that off and you can see there's like a thing in there with a needle in the middle, and when you put the end on, you can buy these online. They're very simple, and you just put it on your finger and you just click, and it pierces your skin, and you are able to get a very small drop of blood. Of course, if you want to get more, then you have to find other ways of doing it. But please never ever do this. Please never ever do this, guys. Don't take your athame and go like they do in the thing and go like that. You should never use your athame to cut, to maim, to bring forth blood. Your athame is for ritual work only, bringing in a circle, producing things in magic. You never use your athame to pierce a body, to do anything that is basically disrespectful to your energy. For what you're doing is cutting yourself with your own energy. You're attacking yourself, and you do not do that. It is a sacred tool of the witch, one of the main tools of the witch. Never be tempted to use your athame because you've seen it in the films and it looks really cool. No, no, no. Please do not do it. Firstly, it's got to be something that is sterile. You do not want an infection. Secondly, it doesn't matter if it's something like what I've just shown you, because guys, at the end of the day, you can encompass that into your ritual, and only you, the gods and whoever you're working for, will see it. It doesn't matter that you've got to make it look all perfect. A ritual comes from within, and using something that is safe and sterile is much more important than using something that looks really cool in ritual. Believe me. There are other forms of knives that you could use, but really, do you really want to scar up your hand? And if you did it there, I can tell you now, it is painful, very painful, and you don't get the amount of blood that they show you in the films. Really, they're holding a bag in there and they're going like that, and it pours. I could do a demonstration on it, but really, I don't think it's wise. At the end of the day, you're doing serious witchcraft, serious spell work, and for that you only need a drop of blood. Now, for any of you who are squeamish, you might want to turn away, because I'm going to show you what I have collected over the last few days, and believe me, it's not a lot. There we go, and that is my blood. It is from my hand, from my fingers, and you can add it to oil to keep it, because it doesn't stop the potency of it. If you want to put it in a base oil to keep it more fluid, or water, you can do that. For what you're going to use it for, your DNA, your stuff is all in there, and that's all you need. It doesn't matter. You're not watering it down. The power is there, contained in this bottle. Contained, and that's another word, contained. Now, when I've contained this, I don't just leave it in the bottle. We have to do a protection spell, because you don't want it escaping. What if it was standing there and the bottle got broken and it went onto something? You need to protect it, and you need to acknowledge that its use is going to be very important. So we've got the candlelight, and you've got this, and you just seek a protection. Now going this way and under and around. You just think of a bubble of light going around, and you just say, protect this blood with light. Protect this blood with all my might. This is me as I am today. Keep this safe and pure this way. And that's all you have to do, guys. That's all you have to do. Right, so we have protected the bottle with the blood in. Now, it's not the blood that's being touched or tainted. This is just the bottle that's holding it, the vessel. Make sure it is airtight as well. Right, so once you've done that, you then, if you're not going to use it that day, you then either put it in the fridge for 7 days or in the freezer for up to 3 months, and that is it. Now, if you want to be using it, best place is the fridge, but obviously if you have other people living in your home with you, they might feel a bit squeamish, so put it in something that they can't see what it is, and keep it away from anything that could become contaminated. You're not going to use it that day, then it would make more sense to freeze it. And of course, if you're going to do the spell at some point of the day, you need to defrost it. You can't use it frozen. So, and also once you've defrosted it, like anything, you can't refreeze it. You would have to then get rid of what was left if you're not going to use it all. Now, there are different ways that you can do that, and of course a lot of people say to me, well, can't throw it away, what can I do with it? Give it as an offering. Give it as an offering, and that can be giving it to the earth, which means a libation. So take it to the back door of your property if you've got a garden, ideal, and just empty it, say a few words, thank the gods, and give it to Mother Earth to sustain Earth. People use blood bone from animals in crops. There is nothing wrong with putting blood onto the earth. So it's sacred, it's life. Give it to the earth, or your plants, they would like it. If not that, Of course, that's only if it's in just your blood in water or on its own. If it's got oils in it, no, guys, that's different. You can use that over a statue as an offering to the gods. At some point, you could use salt water to clean your statue. So if you were going to be, say, it was Freya's day, you could give a blood offering to her. She is a goddess of war as well. You could give an offering of blood to Odin, to, let's see, to Thor. He prefers beer, but you can give blood. There are certain gods that you can give blood to. It would be good if you did some research on it and let me know what ones. Maybe there's some obscure ones that we could add to the list, but you could give them to all the war type gods because it's something that they would appreciate. So once you've done that, make sure you clean out the vessel that you've had it in. You know, cleanse it, not just in soapy water, but maybe boiling water with a bit of salt in. Cleanse it and then let it dry. Don't use a cloth, just leave it on the draining board to dry it off, and then put it away somewhere for the next time when you want to do it. So guys, I don't know whether you practice this type of thing, but it is very good, and some witches do use it regularly in their practice. And as a Seder practitioner, I do use blood, and it isn't because I don't want to put the work into something, but I know if I use my inner bits of me, it's going to make it far more potent. And if you want something to work, then it is great to use it. Don't do it too often because it becomes null and void in the end. You want that potency. You don't want it to become a habit. But it is great to use, and I just thought for all of you out there that haven't given it a go, maybe because you feel it's a bit of a taboo subject, that I would explain about it. So you might say to me, how do we use the blood though? In what sort of way can we use it? Well, the best way that I've found is in sigil work. Now you can make an ink out of it. You can use it, if you've got enough, you can use it straight without anything in it. But you will have to keep dipping the pen in. You have to use, like I've got, see, I've got one of these, and they are great, but you would have to keep dipping it into the blood. If you want it to be more easier to use with one of these, then add a little bit of oil to it. You can add what you like to it. You can add the remnants of one of your sticks that you've burnt, one of the incense sticks. You can add that to it. When you're going to use it for ink, do not make it too thick. If you do, just add a bit more oil. But of course, the more other properties you put in is taking away from the blood itself. So if you can, try to use the blood on its own when you're going to be writing with it. So that's that. And once you've done that, you can write a petition. You could write the petition in normal ink and then just do your signature in blood at the bottom. That literally stamps that with potency. If it's a petition for, say, a particular god or goddess, then roll it up and put it by the statue of them. Then you give it a little while and you meditate on it and you visualize yourself handing it to them. And then when you feel you've done enough, you then set light to the petition, a bit like when you do sigils. That's the point when it is at its highest potency. So when you do it at that point, you're charging that spell or that petition. Now again, you can use it in other ways as a sigil. Now you can use just a drop of your blood onto that. You don't have to write it all in that. You just do your sigil like you would normally, and then just a pinprick of blood straight from you, because that is the freshest you can get it, and just put a dot of it on there. But don't take your finger away, hold it on there while you're thinking and visualizing what the intent is. And when you feel you've done enough, you take your finger away. Now that is great for one that is going to be a little bit longer term, not set on fire straight away. But even if you are going to charge it by setting it straight on fire, that is going to the gods. That blood is still going where you want it to go. So really it doesn't matter what way you do it. Now the other way you can use it, and that would be marking things, like where people can't see it, of course, but pinprick your finger and go to the doors that you feel are letting any negativity in, or windows, and just put a tad of your blood right in a place that cannot be seen, right in a corner, and then visualize that blood becoming completely lit up against your window. So if it's a door, you imagine that door becoming lit up with your blood. Once you've done that, guys, you are protected big time. You've put your security up, and it's from you. Nothing better. You can't get any better than that. So anything that was you feel coming in, you can stop right in its tracks. So again, you can put it into herbs, a little drop, and incenses that with oil, and then anoint a candle. Carve what it is into the candle, and then roll it and infuse it with these beautiful herbs and oils, and then within that will have your blood, your DNA. Then burn that candle. You are sending it straight to what it is you want to be done. Say for example you wanted to send healing to somebody really close to you. By doing that, you're putting those feelings with your blood into that candle, and if you hand it to them and they burn it, how powerful is that? How wonderful is that? You're giving everything you felt in that blood to that person, and giving them that energy or healing that you really wanted them to receive. So again, you can use candles. You can flick blood from your hand into flames. So if you've got a bonfire and you're doing a spell and you're drumming, stop the drumming, prick your finger and just squirt what you can into the flames, and it's done. It is finished. It is very profusely powerful. You can't get no better. But of course there are going to be people out there that think it is dark, that it's a dark thing, that nobody should be doing things like this, because it does bind you to what you're doing. So that's where you have to be careful, guys. Obviously, if you were going to curse someone and you put your blood, you've cursed yourself. You don't want to be doing that. But of course, sensible witches wouldn't do that sort of thing, would they? Marking somebody's clothes with their blood, or doing terrible curses and bad energy spells is not good when done with blood. For those out there that think it's true, of course that puts a darkness over the process of blood magic. Blood is very sacred to deity. It's a very important substance to them. They know what it takes for you to get it, and they also are able to get closer to you when you do share your blood with them. So they're able to connect with you on a stronger basis. What they want from you is that you have sacrificed what you can, and a pinprick of blood is fine. You've given what you can, and they appreciate that, and they can connect to you through that blood a lot easier. They know you through it because it's you. It's got your DNA, all the problems you've got, it's got everything in it. Every property, every spiritual aspect is in that tiny pinprick of blood, and they can connect really strongly with you through that. So if you want to give a blood offering on their day of the week, there's nothing stopping you. Just be careful that you don't overdo it, because that's not what magic is about. It's about being sensible. It's about using it in a scientific way. We are scientists at the end of the day. We are using things that the Joe Blogs in the street do not know of and do not understand. But everything we do has got a scientific fact behind it. And so we are leading the world. We walk forwards and we use our magic to aid everyone and the world. Blood is very powerful, and it was given to us by the gods, because if you believe the original story, we were 2 pieces of wood, 2 logs, and we were given the gift of life. We were given that blood, and so by sharing it with deity, we are saying to them, thank you for what we've been given, and we want to share it back to you, to give you some of our power so that we can receive your power. And that is what blood is about, guys. There are 2 other things for all you budding artists out there, those that want to use art in your spell work. You can use blood in the paints. It won't show. So obviously don't put it into the white paint, but into other colours. Even the background, you can put it in the background. And there are artists of the past that actually use parts of their physical bodies, that they put it in their paint to make it theirs. It was something about their within, and it's gone into the painting. So if you're doing a picture and you want to put some of your blood in it, it is a good thing you can do. So there you go, you can do that with artwork and all sorts of things. If you're making a basket out of weaving, or you're doing a statue out of clay, add a little drop of blood. Pop-it dolls, another good way of doing it, adding parts of the body, but especially the blood, the life-giving force. So just some ideas of what you can actually do. Not a subject that most people want to go into, but I just think it's a good thing for people to know about, so that they're not swayed by what the media is showing them. And believe me, guys, it can become part of your practice, and it is not what people say it is. Only if you are silly with it and not safe. Always be safe in everything you do. As I say, I put a disclaimer out that these things, used in the right way, can be done. But for people that were going to be silly with it, you will expect a horrible outcome. And that is the same with anything that you do in life. If you buy a book as somebody that writes and you write in a bad way, your book is ruined. But if you take time over it and write it nicely, your book is great. And it's the same thing in magic. Never spare the time. Always give it the time it needs. Be safe, protect, ground, and you're safe, you're okay. Blood isn't a bad thing. It is something that we can make use of. It was given to us by the gods, and so how much more can we not use that power that was given us to aid others, to aid ourselves, to aid the world, and to get closer to our gods. And there I'm going to leave it. So there, guys, I hope that's helped some of you. Thank you to my new subscribers. Really do appreciate your subscription. It does aid the channel. Thank you to those that are always there, always supporting me. I really do appreciate you too, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful Yule, Christmas, and Happy New Year as well. And I will be back. And so wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. House of Verlaine. Freya, oh Freya, Lady of the Vanir, Lady of love and light, Lady of war too, come before you. I give you my offering this day. I offer you a part of me this day, a part of who I am within me. I give this to you and I offer it in earnest. Please accept my offering. I give you this offering which is a part of me on your day. Hail, Freya.